YouTube family. Today is a cozy rainy day, so what I thought was I would shoot a cozy Q&A from my cozy bed. And no, I am not in pain. It is not a pain day. It's just a cozy day. I am listening to the rain. If you'd be really quiet, let's see if you can hear it. It's so beautiful. It's like a lullaby. I just love it. So, since I'm focusing on things that I love, and that's on my bucket list, I am cuddling up in the covers, and I am listening to the rain all day. Maybe not all day, but you get the drift. Okay, so I thought today that I would go ahead and do a Q&A with some questions that were left for me on Sunday's video. So let's just get right in there. Oh, first, I forgot to say hello and hi. My name is Jody. This is Too Cute for Cancer, and welcome to my channel. If you are new, then thank you for clicking on. I hope I don't disappoint. Now, if you'd like to learn about my journey with cancer before right now, because right now it's just a Q&A, so if you want to get like a history, a background about my diagnosis and stuff, then I will post a link either here or here. I never know which side it's supposed to be on. And of course the dog's going to bark now because the mailman's coming. Anyway, I'll post a link and you guys can catch up with me. All right, let's get started. It was kind of a lot of questions, so I had to kind of trying to figure out which ones, to choose from. Hold on here. Okay. Number one. Okay. I had a question from someone. I don't think it was a question. I think it was more of a statement. And she said, "Stop using filters on your face. It's distracting." Okay, well, number one, I don't use filters on my face. It is a video camera. It is not a regular camera where you can add filters. And this camera is not fancy enough to do any of that. So, sorry, no filters. This is just my face. So, if you don't like it, I apologize. On to the next one. Let's see. Do I believe in God? This is a two-part one from the same person. Do I believe in God, and am I afraid of dying? Okay, well, obviously the person has never watched any of my videos before, because it is a very well-known fact that I do believe in God. I have a very strong faith, and so the answer would be yes. And actually, I don't think the person even watched this video because, or Sunday's video, because Sunday's video was definitely how God saw me in a whole thing about that. So obviously the person just looked at Too Cute for Cancer and then asked the question. So I don't mind answering, but yes, I believe in God. It is my guiding, He's my guiding force. He is the only reason that I am still here, and He gives me strength and faith to continue on every day. All right, second part of that question was, am I afraid of dying? No. I am not afraid of dying at all, about being dead and going to heaven. I believe that I'm going to, the minute my body shuts down and my spirit is no longer in this old broken down body, it is going to be ushered into heaven with Jesus. And I will see my little boy that passed away, Michael. I will see my brother that died, my grams, my grandpa, my cousins that have passed on before me, and all of my cancer friends that knew Jesus will all be there waiting for me in their healthy bodies. So I am not afraid of dying at all. But I am scared to death of the actual how it's going to happen, if that makes sense. I'm afraid of the pain that might be I'm afraid of not being in my right mind so I can say goodbye to everybody the right way. I'm afraid of saying something stupid, which could happen. I'm afraid of drooling in front of people. I mean, it is horrible, but those are the things that I am afraid of. I'm afraid of it taking too long. I'm afraid of just the whole feeling of my body shutting down. So that part I am afraid of. And I know that God knows that fear. And I know that He's going to be with me in those moments and usher me through. But that is my fear. But I'm not afraid of death the way this person, I think, means it. And so I hope that answers your question. Let's just see. Oh, wow. Okay. Do you and would you, if it was legal, do an euthanasia? Okay, now I'm going to read. Let me see if I can find the actual. I'm going to read her question exactly because it's a little better. Hi, Jody. May I ask you a very personal question? In the Netherlands, we've got a law that provides very terminally ill people to make a euthanasia will. Okay, it's a legal law that gives a very ill person his or her own right to decide how they want to die. And they also do this with Alzheimer patients. And then she goes on to say the different types of illnesses. What they do is they give you a lethal dose of medicine so you fall asleep and you don't wake up. And she says, I know that there's a lot of misunderstanding about this law, but I wonder if you would consider it if it were legal in your country. And then she goes on to say, I know it's a hard question. I don't mean to upset anybody, and then she was very, very sweet. So, and her name was Ellen. Hi, Ellen. So I'm going to answer your question. I don't support euthanasia because I believe that God is the only one that has the right to give life and take it away. So I believe that it would be a sin against God to take my own life before it was time. And let me just kind of say a little bit about that. I don't know how to word this in a good way. 5 years ago, I had gone through several different trials, chemotherapy, radiation, everything. My tumors were not budging. I had sepsis, almost died, and from sepsis, not the cancer, but from the sepsis. And the doctors pretty much said, you know what? We can't really do any, this is all we have. And they offered me hospice, and basically, you're going to die. And at that time, if the law had been set up here in our state, I would have had the right to set up my own death. And if I had done that at that time, I wouldn't have known that God has sustained my life for 5 more years. That's 5 more years beyond what the doctors say that I could possibly have survived. So my point is, we don't know how much time we really have left. Only God does. And I would have robbed myself, my family, of 5 years with me. And also, the good that I was able to do in this 5 years, I've had hundreds of people say that I've helped them with my story. I've helped them with my experience, sharing it with them, and kind of paving the way and making it not so scary for them, if that makes any sense. And not that I'm so good, it's just that God used me to do good in that time. And that time would have been robbed and ended if I had taken things into my own hands. So that's not the only reason, but that's an example. Now, I do understand the suffering. I remember when I was at the end of one trial and I was just I was in so much pain. My whole body hurt. I'd gone into sepsis. I was shaking. Everything was starting to close down, and it just was the worst feeling ever. And I was crying to my husband, just let it end, let it end, let it end. I wanted to die at that moment, but I wasn't asking him to kill me. I was just in so much pain that I wanted the pain to end. I didn't really want my life to end. But in that moment, I could see where people would, if they didn't have my belief system and they didn't have the assurance of going to heaven, if they didn't have the assurance of God carrying them through, then I can see where it would be so easy to say, bring it on, you know. So I do have compassion for those who feel that they need to do that. I just, you know, I don't believe in it. I don't believe that it's right. I believe it's suicide, basically. I mean, no matter how you put it. Now, I do believe at the end, when your body is shutting down and they give you morphine to make you more comfortable, someone said they wouldn't take morphine because it slows down the breathing and that you will die faster that way. Well, I don't believe that's the wrong thing. If you are dying and you're at the very end and you can't breathe and you're in pain, then morphine is a beautiful gift to take away your pain in your last moments. So I'm not against that. Okay, now this person says, if you're tired of talking about cancer, why do you do a channel for it? Okay. Obviously, the person did not watch the video and did not listen to the video, because the video explained that I had a dream, I was healed, didn't have cancer, and I woke up and I was basically disappointed that I did. And in the dream, it showed me what life would have been without cancer, and I wanted that. So I was sharing my emotions and my reaction to a dream and my feelings. And my whole channel is about my journey, my story, my feelings, my experience with cancer, good or bad. It's all there. I give it to you all. So, yeah, I'm not going to say any more about that one. I think that's enough questions for today. That was kind of heavy, so I think I'm done with that. But there is a kind of stupid thing that I did. At the end of Sunday's video, I asked you guys, if you get to the end, drop the word grace. Okay, I forgot I said that. And I was reading through the comments and I'm like seeing grace, 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 grace. And I was like, oh, it just like, I'm thinking, why, that's nice. Why is everybody saying grace? But then it hit me that I asked you to do it, and I'm like, oh, ding dong. I'm like such a ding dong sometimes. Had nothing to do with chemo brain. It's just Jody brain. I just thought it was kind of funny. I'm such a ditz. Anyway, okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. I know it was kind of just an odd, quickie, you know, cuddly, sad, but I'm answering your questions. I'm doing what you asked, and I answer them honestly. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying this is what you guys have to do. It's just my beliefs, my opinion, and you asked, so I answered. So I hope I don't get too much hate for this, but if I do, I'm sorry. Okay, now I have a favor. If you would like to help me out in growing my channel, and not just growing my channel, but helping other people find my channel so I can help them. Hopefully my story can help encourage others that are not just having cancer, but have a chronic illness, or anybody suffering with anything, because suffering in my book is suffering. There is no like, ooh, cancer's got it over everybody else. Suffering is suffering for any reason. So if you can, choose one of your favorite videos that you have watched of mine, pick it out and share it with a family member or a friend and ask them to pass it on. I would so appreciate it. Now, I think that's it. I have said my piece. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you for always being there and supporting me, and for all the positive grace comments at the very end, and all the love and support that you guys always give me, and the freedom to be myself. That is the number one thing, the number one gift you guys have given me, and I love you guys all for it. Now, that's it for today. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, you guys know what to do. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. I had somebody ask me that the other day, and I'm like, no, it's free. Just hit subscribe, set the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Mostly I do vlogs, and I throw in a couple sit-downs like today. I just show you my entire life as it happens. All right, you guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. This is Too Cute for Cancer signing off.
Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk